Hey guys, welcome to the Media That Makes Us. I'm your host, Chae Jones, and today's guest, Fabrizio Guido, you know him from Mr. Iglesias, Running Point, Blackest Night, Perry Mason, and so much more. But as much as he has shaped our lives with the media that he's been a part of, with all the characters that he's played, I want to know what shaped him. So let's talk about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey Shay.
Hi.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm super excited because I'm very curious. You started at such a young age acting, and I want to know, when did you know this was the path you wanted?
I feel like, okay, when did I know? Well, my mom is a theater actress, right? So, well, she also does film and TV, whatever. But like, she started off in the film, and I mean, in the theater world, the remix, bro. She started off in theater, and I just hung around the theater as a kid, and like, theater people kind of mixed with the film people, like students that were making like short films and stuff. They were like, "Hey, can we borrow your son for this film?" She's like, "I don't know, ask him." And then it's like my first couple of days on set, I was like someone's kid for a short film, or like a kid that was lost in a store. And then I just kind of took a liking to him. My mom was like, "Hey, you really like to do this?" I was like, "Yeah, I like to act. I like to be on set." She's like, "I'm gonna find you an agent." And I got like a commercial agent, so I started going out like commercially. I started doing like a ton of commercial. I had this little 2009 Justin Bieber cut at the time. So my hair was like really long. So I was doing well commercially. And then my commercial agent, when I was like 11, was like, "I'm gonna take you on for film and TV." And I started going out for film and TV, and the rest is history. But I feel like the performance aspect of it all, uh, I found it pretty early on. I like the idea of make believe. I like the idea of being on set. The older I got, the investment in like spending time with a character, learning more about the art form, learning more about myself and what I could bring to the characters that I was playing was interesting too. But I feel like in a way it kind of found me. And then at some point my liking for it just kind of found it too. So I didn't really have this like aha moment. At least I don't think so. It felt like a very natural kind of progression into liking it.
And because you started so young, what were the kind of shows that you watched growing up that you were like, I love these. Like, I love these pieces of art.
I remember getting home from school, and at the time my parents were working a lot, and I would get like babysat by my aunt. So by the time I got home, it was already late. So there wasn't like, we didn't have like cartoons or anything. Like it was just like, it was like public TV, public access. Yeah. Um, and I would watch, like Channel 5, which was like The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle. So those were my options. And I mean, they were amazing as options. I absolutely, like, I could not miss watching Malcolm in the Middle, and I could not miss watching The Simpsons. Like those were my shows. As far as movies go, when I was really little, I loved Spider-Man. I was obsessed with Spider-Man. So like I wanted to be Spider-Man, and part of like that journey in acting was like, wait, you're telling me I can be Spider-Man too? Like I can go and pretend and be Spider-Man? Like this isn't real. So that was intriguing for me too.
Well, considering that Malcolm in the Middle is coming back, if there's a way for you to get on that reboot, would you do it?
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I would love to read it. I mean, not to doubt it, but I just love it so much, you know? That show is like, it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's like the soundtrack to my childhood because it's not a song, but yeah, I feel like a huge emotional attachment to it because it was like my comfort show slash raising me slash distracting me from my homework. But it would be it would be an honor.
No, what's funny is your first theatrical film you ever did was World War Z.
Mm-hmm.
And the funniest thing is, I was actually at that premiere.
What?
Mm-hmm. I got a free ticket to go to that premiere.
Hold on, Shay. So wait, which one?
The one at Chinese Theater.
Oh, okay. I didn't go to that one.
Okay.
I wasn't there at that one.
You weren't there at that one.
It would have been cool if we crossed paths.
That really would have been
right?
actually so many 6 degrees of
Yeah,
separation.
that would have been really cool. Yeah, no, I wasn't at that one. How was that?
I mean, it's funny because I don't do horror as a. I'm not a fan of horror. I dabble. I like to say. There's only certain things you'll catch me at. Zombies are okay for me, depending on the movie. Like I love Zombieland.
Yeah.
It was great, and at the time I liked Brad Pitt, and I was like, okay, I'm really gonna go out and watch this movie. I got a free T-shirt. I was like,
I didn't get a free T-shirt, so
I still have that T-shirt somewhere.
please send me a picture if you find it.
If I find it, because it's somewhere, it has to be some. I don't get rid of a lot of stuff, so it has to be somewhere in my room. But the fact that your first theatrical film and feature film was with Brad Pitt, was in World War Z. What was that like for you at 11, 12 during this big movie?
It was like, I will say it was life-changing in the sense that you know, it wasn't like, oh, I did the film, changed my life, like massive, you know, actor over here. No, it was life-changing in the sense that like it was the first like you said, huge budget set I had ever been on. I had never traveled really outside of my like neighborhood, you know, other than like to Tijuana, which was like kind of like a bunch of Latinos just going. It's like supernatural to cross back and forth. But yeah, I went to London for 3 months. I had never been on a plane. So it was my first time getting on a plane, first time going out of the country, like so many firsts with that. So I think it really like opened up my worldview as far as a person. I think I came back a different person. Like I was, at that point, I was in love with what set life was like. Seeing that was like, wow, this is amazing. I got to see these like massive stadiums built from green screen. You know, I got to see all the zombies and makeup. I got to see like they had like scenes where they shot with helicopters and like the helicopters were like on cranes. So they were moving these massive pieces of equipment and helicopters and you know, just the effects, everything was going on was so cool. Yeah, it absolutely it was a very special and unforgettable experience for me. As a person, as an artist, you know, like again, just being this kid, imagine being on the set of World War Z and having fun. And, you know, I'm off work and then I go and get to discover the city of London and just, it was so cool. It was really, really cool. And I think again, it opened up my worldview.
What I think is amazing about that is because you're saying this is the first time you got to travel, you got to experience something because of a job that you love. And I think that's such an incredible thing for a kid to be able to experience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And after World War Z, you got your first series regular job on Welcome to the Family, for those who remember, because they did y'all dirty, I will say.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that. But what was it like, one, booking that role as Demetrio and then also working alongside Justina Machado and like
Justina.
being in that environment?
Yeah, I mean, I must have been like 12 or 13 or something like that at the time. And I was super excited to just be on a, you know, network show and that was another first for me. I was excited at the opportunity to portray this character and the responsibility I was being given, you know, to be a series regular and take on this role. You mentioned Justina. I love Justina. I'm a fan of her work. I'm a fan of her as a person. I still message Justina on Instagram sometimes and just congratulate her on whatever she's doing, like her Netflix show that she has out right now and everything. I absolutely love her. But I got familiar with the idea of, or not the idea, but like just being around TV and the involvement of writers, you know, writers being around and the way producers, actors, and writers all kind of communicate with one another. The idea of changing lines while you're on set, right? So that was, I mean, it happens in film, but I feel like TV is a real, you'll hear it often as like a real writer's medium. So it was, although it's so similar in the art form and the way I'm showing up, like ultimately I'm just portraying this character, but I guess the set etiquette changes, if that's the proper way to say it. It's a little bit of a different world. I love film. I love the way it's made. I love the way, or film, television, whatever. It's the same thing. The
Yeah.
art, but I like the production. I guess the production aspect of it all. So getting to see it, the differences and all that was a really special experience.
And I'm curious, like when you learned that they were canceling the show, how did you navigate that? Like who helped you navigate that moment of disappointment?
Chae, I didn't even know cancellation was a thing. Like
Aw.
I didn't even know that canceling the TV show was a thing. I thought you got your TV show and you were good. Like I didn't even know the ratings were a thing. I remember showing up to set one day, one morning, and I remember someone, I think it was someone from the camera crew, they were like, well, the ratings came in, we're canceled. And then they looked at me and they saw that I was standing there, and I kind of had like a blank stare on my face, and they were like, we're just kidding. But I felt like there was some truth, but I was like, wait, what exactly does that mean? And then like a couple days later, we caught word that the show had been canceled. I remember being disappointed. You know, I felt like, because we had shot more episodes than we had actually shown. I think we had aired like 2 or 3. But six
You
had aired.
You had, there were 6 aired, and from my knowledge, there are 13 episodes that were ordered.
I think there were less than 6 aired. I think we shot 6.
Oh, at that point you had only shot 6. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. From what I remember, it was like 2 or 3-ish episodes in.
Okay.
You know what? This was a long time ago, Chae. You probably Googled this much more recently. From my memory,
I did. That's why.
From my memory, I just remember the feeling of being like, wow, we had some really cool stuff on the way with some talented people that were writing for us and acting and directors coming in, some pretty cool stuff. It was a beautiful show, beautiful concept. It was ambitious, I think, too, for its time. Like, it was a good show. But yeah, I wasn't familiar with the idea of cancellation. I remember feeling, like I said, a little cheated that we weren't able to say what we wanted to say. But my mom was a huge support system and has always been a huge support system for me. And I think as I was learning about this, she was kind of learning about this too, because it was new to her. I know she knew about cancellation and stuff, but experiencing it through my eyes was something else, right? And you know, I remember just feeling a little down, right? But I also remember feeling like, okay, you know, what's next? Like I felt like in that moment, I guess I just needed like faith, or, you know, let's see what's to come. What am I gonna do? It wasn't the first time. I was familiar with the idea of rejection. So I don't remember crying, or which is valid. You can cry. It sucks. Yeah, it's a loss. But I think I just knew it was also part of the journey, and it was something that I was learning too. In the same way I showed up to these sets and experienced the good, I was also experiencing the realities of what kind of comes with that too, which is important, even though I didn't know it at the time. And, you know, I think emotionally it got to me a little bit, but also you can imagine I had gone on so many auditions that got me excited before that point, where I just didn't get that role. And it was a lot of rejection. So, yeah, that the process of becoming an actor will help you with dealing with those rejections too, you know?
Because you hear a lot more no's before you hear a yes.
Yeah.
And luckily,
Yeah.
the next time you booked a series regular job, it was a yes. Because not only did you get 1 season, y'all got 3. And we're talking about Mr. Iglesias. And that was a live action. I mean, live in the sense that you had a live audience,
Live studio
for doing the show. And what was it like for you? Because also that's the same thing as doing Welcome to the Family, but the difference is now you have an audience coming in every Friday or so to like watch you perform these live. And I know that experience is just a little bit different.
Yeah. Not only that, it was Netflix, so it wasn't like they were airing, or at least at that time, airing an episode a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt really good that the people were going to be able to determine how much they wanted to see and not a network, right? So it was
Mm-hmm.
like I had mentioned, I felt cheated that we didn't get to air all the episodes of Welcome to the Family. With this, I was like, yes, we're gonna secure that and send it out, and it's gonna be the entire season, and no one's gonna cut that short. Um, that job, so exciting, so exciting. It was a new thing for me because I'd never done live studio audience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, actually, also I just want to mention like one of the writers from Welcome to the Family actually worked on Mr. Iglesias too, Isaac. So that's a cool little crossover. And Peter Murrieta. So they remembered me from that time, which is just a little nugget of history. But um, yeah, that show was really special. I got to learn a lot of new things too because it was my first time doing live studio audience. And I wasn't familiar much with the multicam kind of world. It was a new comedy for me. It was a new timing, holding for laughs. All that stuff was new to me, and it was really cool to discover and watch a whole lot of TV and try and learn and pick up on things that I liked. At first, my reaction to it had always kind of been like, this feels like a little bit of a spoof. This feels kind of exaggerated in the art form. It doesn't feel as grounded as maybe as the things that I gravitate towards. And then it was like, okay, what are you going to find within this character so that you feel comfortable doing the comedy that they need, but also doing what you want to do? And I learned something really important, which I think applies to any kind of style of acting, really, which was, don't play like a exaggerated version of whatever. Just be someone who has a big personality, who has an exaggerated personality, which is like two different things.
Yeah.
Leaning into that, being this campy kind of art form, or because you meet people with big personalities that are characters themselves, but that's truly them. That's truly who they are. So I tried to lead with that. Yeah, that was a special process. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot your question. I went on this little like
No, I mean, I think you answered it. It was just essentially what was that like experience that for the first time. So you answered it essentially, but also the fact that Mikey is the essentially golden retriever energy in the best possible way as a character, and his trajectory from season 1 to season 3, growing with him. Personally, y'all should have more episodes, but that's me as a fan. I will
thank you.
say.
A lot of people say that.
Because it's true. What do you mean? Season 3 only got 6 episodes. How dare you? What was it like for you working with Fluffy, aka Gabriel Iglesias?
This whole process from Welcome to the Family to, let's say, Mr. Iglesias, and the things I learned at each stage of my life and each year, I just meet everything with so much gratitude, honestly, because it showed me a lot. I will say this, and it's not the first time I've said it, but I love Gabe. I respected him as an artist before I ever met him. And after meeting him, I respect him as a human being. That is a someone I really admire. I first came up on Gabe's kind of stand-up comedy as a whole when I was really little. I remember being in a hotel room and flipping through channels looking for like cartoons or something. And I landed on Comedy Central and I saw this man and he was doing voices. And I just remember being amazed by the way he was making the crowd laugh with every sentence. And I just remember being in awe. I was like, how does he do that? How does he just talk and make people laugh? Like, I didn't know that there was a routine attached. I thought you were just born, like, just every time you talk, it was just bang, 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 bang. So I never even considered wanting to do stand up because it just seemed like something you had to be born with. I just thought I didn't know a routine
I
was
mean, I
behind
figure
it.
it's something you're born with and also something you have to work at. It's a little bit both.
Sure, I think it is something you're born with, but like you know, a conversation being an hour special, just every time like he sits somewhere, any comic sits somewhere is a little different. I think comics are funny, but the idea of like starting from point A and taking us to you know, Z, and like tying everything in perfectly, um that was amazing to me. I didn't know that there was something out there was an inner working there. But yeah, I'd been a fan as soon as I watched Gabe. And I'd followed his work up until, well, I still do, but like up until I got the job, right? I was like a fan of Gabriel. So getting to work with Gabe was, it was really cool. I learned a lot being on that set, not just from Gabe, but from a lot of other people around me. And Gabe as a stand up, he, you know, he opened up that world for me as well, which has been really really special. It's like my latest passion and something I love to do.
How's that journey been going for you as a stand up yourself as you go into that foray?
Good.
Good.
It's been good. It I really fell in love with it. Again, my world, it's just, I guess there's this theme of my world just constantly kind of opening up and taking me places. But you know, Gabe is the person that put me on stage. I had no idea I would be on stage so soon. Um he was just like, "Hey, I went to a party and I was like, Gabe, I saw that you're doing the Brea Improv. I want to go. I'll be there." He goes, "Yeah, I'll send you tickets." Perfect. He goes, "Actually, no, open up for me." And I go, "Wait, what? Dude, I don't do stand up. Like, I don't that." He goes, just go, open up for me." There was a couple other comics around. They like rushed in and they were like, "Yeah, open up for Gabe, do it." And I was like, "Guys, I don't do stand up." My mom was around. She's like, "You're gonna do it." I was like, "All right, fine, I'll do it. I'll do it." He's like, "You have 2 weeks. Come up with 5 minutes. I'll see you there." And yeah, I did my 5 minutes at the Brea Improv, and again, I walked off that stage a different person. And since then, I've been developing material, getting up anywhere and everywhere. Um, I love it. I absolutely love it. I spend a huge chunk of my day, my week, my month, writing writing material, and then I, you know, I test it out at night, and yeah, I just kind of continue to build.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
been
whole
really
world you
cool.
didn't think you would be able to do.
Something completely new. It's this new thing that I'm living. Like, I'm out at night. I have uh good friends that are comics, and we go and hit multiple clubs in a night and open mics or whatever, and you know, I'm watching them grow, they're watching me grow. We're just we're learning. We're learning. We're in this process, and it's been really cool. I've gotten a chance to open up for some really funny people that I admire. And it makes for some really special moments too. Yeah.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
love that for you.
Thank you.
Um, Seeing as Mr. Iglesias has ended, I want to know because we never get to find out as the audience. Where do you think Mikey is at this moment in the time we are in 2025 now? And do you think Mikey and Marisol made it?
Hmm. I don't want to answer if Mikey and Marisol made it.
Okay.
I think that takes away from the charm. You're right. It does suck that we didn't get an ending to that storyline, but I just saw Cree, who plays Marisol, not too long ago, and we were talking about, she was like, "At least give us a graduation," like, you
No,
know.
this is my theory. I feel like if you're gonna cancel a show, whether you leave it with a cliffhanger or not, I feel like the audience deserves to actually get a full culmination. Everyone deserves a full
Sure.
ending,
We were
like one more
loyal.
episode at least of anything, whether you cancel it before, like on a cliffhanger or not. I feel like if it didn't end with a clear ending for everyone, y'all should be afforded the chance to do so.
Yeah. I think Mr. Iglesias really shaped Mikey and played a, you know, really, I think, steered Mikey in the right direction. I think the people around Mikey from that classroom served as a great support system too. I think Marisol's influence on Mikey brought ambition too. Um, I think what's cool about Mikey is Mikey has always been someone that is like you said, kind of like a little bit of a golden retriever.
He gives golden retriever energy, and sometimes we need those people.
Yeah. So you can imagine whatever room Mikey goes to, I think is really well received. And I can see Mikey having a podcast.
I guess that's you actually. No. Okay, if you did have a podcast, what would it be about?
I think I definitely would have to be like influence with gaming and whatnot. But I think uh, it would be bringing in both local and it's like whatever kind of, how do I put this, whatever kind of connections Mikey could make with people Mikey would admire, right? But I feel like it would be cool for Mikey to like interview local businesses in Long Beach or local musicians or whatever. I feel like that scene might be pretty cool. Also, I I think Mikey might be really interested in comedy.
I mean, he was funny.
I don't think Mikey knew
He was funny.
he was funny.
Which also makes it that much more amazing. Actually, it's the people who don't know who they're funny, and then they discover that for themselves.
Yeah, I think Mikey could have done stand up.
I would love to actually. I really I want to see like a 5 or 10 year reunion for you guys. Like if we're gonna do an episode, that's what y'all should do.
That would be cool.
On the flip side, the next show you did was Perry Mason, and obviously completely different style. It's more of a drama. And you did Perry Mason for season 2, and it's set in the 1930s. Now, you being born and raised in LA, this is where you're from. This is where you're from. This is where you grew up. What was it like essentially going back in time to 1932 to play this character in the show?
Phew. That was a really fun part of the process. I think prior to doing the show, one of my hobbies had become, I don't know if you can call it being a historian. I don't know if that's too much, like, because I'm really not. Like, if you try and test me, like, I'll fall short pretty quick, right? But I was really interested prior to working on Perry Mason in the history of LA. I was into a lot of like Chicano studies at the time. I was reading up a lot about what happened at Elysian between the neighborhood. You know, it was a neighborhood like Palos Verdes and not actual Palos Verdes. There was 3 neighborhoods within Elysian.
Okay.
That is now Dodger Stadium, which was Chavez Ravine, right? And the community being displaced. So I was reading a lot about that, and that also kind of crosses into the show in a way. It's not exactly Chavez Ravine, but it's a different stadium that they're building for the sake of Perry. So I was really invested in the Zoot Suit riots. There was a lot of stuff going on in LA, which was fascinating me. And I was asked, hey, what would you like to do next in an interview, I think. And I was like, I really would like to do a period piece. I think it was like a month later I had done a period. I had gotten Perry Mason. So I was on my way to doing this piece set in the 1930s. It is exciting both to see the contributions of my community in Los Angeles, and heartbreaking to see what was stripped from the community and what wasn't given credit. But I think that all the more kind of fueled my passion for this character and this project, because it was something that a storyline and history that's often overseen is finally, being put on screen. It was really cool. It was an intense process. I remember I would listen to the music from the 30s just to try and sink myself in the era. I remember I would wake up every day, and I would, before work, I would look for the newspaper in LA. So, for example, I would look for today's date, right? We're in April. And I would look for today's date, but instead of 2025, I would put 1932. And I would read the newspaper of that day from 1932. And this was every day. So every morning I was waking up and I was reading what was happening in 1932. The Great Depression was going on. There was a lot of historical things that were playing into the character. But what I tried to immerse myself in that. I stayed away from my phone as much as possible. One of the really important things for me was building a bond with Peter Mendoza, who played my brother on the show, and Stephanie Hostin, who played his fiance or wife, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You see the proposal on the show, so I don't know. There's a progression, so I don't know what
Yeah.
exactly to call it. His love interest. Yeah, getting really tight with Peter, and Peter being really invested in this character, and willing to go really, really far to understand this character. We would hang out offset, and work. We would talk about where we came from, what life looked like for us, our dynamic as brothers. That during uh, Perry Mason season 2, or maybe you don't know if you haven't seen it, but I'm on trial for murder. We talk about what that is like for us in our psyche and how that might affect us as brothers, as him being the older brother and feeling like he's maybe responsible for protecting me and maybe not being able to do that himself. And just that whole dynamic, it was a lot. I can go on and on and on. I have like a notebook of stuff written with all this kind of stuff, but it was a very intense process for me. I was I remember every day just waking up, and there was, I don't want to say I was depressed, because I wasn't, but I was definitely so invested, and I knew I needed to show up and deliver these heartbreaking moments for the show. So I was constantly in a state of like, how would I feel like if I was on trial? How would I feel like for murder? How would I feel like if I couldn't see my family? So I'm constantly like carrying this with me every single day.
Which is a heavy burden.
Yeah, it feels heavy.
Yeah.
So again, I wasn't depressed, but like I did feel depressed. I felt heavy. I felt heavy, but it wasn't really affecting my life. It was just, it was just something I had on me.
I mean, especially because it's a character who's also Mexican American.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the times are different. The issues are still the same.
Mm-hmm.
People are still being displaced now.
Yeah.
Just for the fact.
Yeah.
That they're immigrant, even though immigrants built this country. How was it for you? Like, obviously, you talked about it being heavy, but do you still feel a sense of pride in being able to take part in telling the story that doesn't always get told?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I walked in every day understanding the responsibility I held, and the feeling of like I represent more than just myself with this story. Um, During the Great Depression in LA and across America, we had repatriation. The Mexicans were scapegoats for what was happening with the economy. And I see it happening again today. Which sad, but even reading through this and thinking like, reading, I think the book is called, and forgive me for not remembering the author, but I remember the title. It's called Decade of Betrayal. It's about repatriation during the Great Depression. It was heartbreaking, and I'm like, oh man, this can't happen again. That was a long time ago, and I was like, man, things seem very similar to some of the things that I was reading from that book from the 30s in today's day and age. But yeah, I do feel a sense of pride, because I remember being on set, and I feel like a very formative film for me was Blood In, Blood Out. And I watched these young Mexican American men, or I guess not all Mexican American, but I think some of them were just young Latino men. But watching these performances and feeling like, wow, these are some of the best performances I've ever seen. Like, these guys got cheated out of an Oscar. This film is amazing. And what that represented for me, and how formative and important that was for me. Even watching that during Perry Mason would motivate me, inspire me, and watching their vulnerability in certain scenes, like watching Jesse Borrego's vulnerability at times, really made me feel proud. Like, hey, like I see me. That's not a joke. I know you hear it often, representation, and it almost at times may feel like outplayed because we just hear it so much and so much, so much. But it's important. It matters because it mattered to me, and I feel like at times it carried me through some of the processes. Seeing it's like, wow, I want to put up a performance like that. I can see how committed this person is. I want to do the same thing.
And I think when people say it's overplayed, I think that it's because they're always represented, so it's not a problem for them. So if I say it or you say it, they're like, "Oh, you're pandering." Why is it pandering to want to be seen? Why is that a hard
Nah.
concept? And it's not, and it shouldn't be. Yet again, in the year of 2025, we're still having the same conversation, and I feel like it's funny because we understand why it's important, but why do we still have to keep reminding you why it's important? For those who don't understand, for not that they don't understand, because I feel like they do understand. I feel like at this point they're just being obtuse about it just a little bit, maybe, um, or woke or DEI, and also they're using it incorrectly, which also upsets my spirit, because I'm like, I need y'all to understand. They don't mean what you say it means. You've used it, you've colonized it, you've changed the meaning from its original intent. So having a show like Perry Mason and being a part of that for you, being able to share a piece of history that is important not only to you but to your community,
Yeah.
that's not pandering. That's given due.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it was it was fictitious, it reflects some realities that happen in the city. I mean, the name, for crying out loud, Los Angeles, Los Angeles.
City of Angels.
Yeah.
How do they become angels?
No, I just mean it's in Spanish.
True.
Yeah, and most of our street names here too.
A lot of them actually. But a lot of people still think you guys don't deserve to be here, and that's not right.
Not just here, and
I mean, anywhere.
not just me, not just my community. You know, that's a
Anyone who is not a straight white man, essentially, shouldn't be in America. Which, again, we're in the year of 2025, and we're still having conversations you would have thought. Like, we used to talk about in, history class, like, oh, this is so far back. Like, this is something that, like, we're moved past from. And yet, you can't move past something you're trying to erase. If you have to erase it, you haven't moved past.
Yeah.
At least to me.
No, yeah.
So, going from the drama that was Perry Mason, you did a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love the different genres you've just been able to do. In between like World War Z versus Blackest Night, what do you think your survival would be in a horror movie? How long do you think you'd survive if you actually ended up in a horror movie?
It all depends where I am.
Okay. Like depending on the scenario.
Dude, if I'm in the subway and it's, it strikes right there, like, what am I going to do? If I'm crammed with people and all of a sudden there's like 5 zombies that are turning and biting people and my stop is 2 minutes away, well, then I'm out of luck. Yeah, it all depends. I think my survival skills would be, I was really obsessed with like going out and being in nature when I was younger. Like, I was obsessed with like watching like survivalist shows like Bear Grylls and stuff.
Okay.
So like I would go out with my friends and we would try to like purify water out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
and
you guys were
like,
actually doing that.
Yeah. It was an excuse to just have pocket knives, I think.
Like, I just wanted a pocket knife.
Yeah,
and then this is what you do when you have a pocket knife.
Yeah, we were like ghetto Boy Scouts. There's like a bunch of buddies of mine that didn't get a chance to go to 6th grade camp, and like we were like, you know what? Forget 6th grade camp. We're starting our own. So it was like us hanging out like all the time, just being out in nature. I feel like I learned how to make like a little hut that could keep your body warm. But like also, if an apocalypse strikes, like the last place I want to be is in a hut somewhere in the woods. Like that has no, that I'll be dead, if not by like wolves, by like a bear or zombies. So I would like need a shelter.
Okay,
Um,
fair.
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to think I know my way around the city pretty well. I don't know. It all depends where I am, Shay.
Okay, so let's say the situation is a zombie attack.
Uh-huh.
Do you think you're surviving? Or how long do you think you survive before you might get
How fast are these zombies though? It's a
I mean
lot that
that's
goes
important
into it.
actually.
Cause we got slow zombies and then we got fast zombies. Like
Let's say they start off slow before they migrated to the faster ones.
I could run pretty fast. Like in comparison to a zombie, yeah, I feel like I could outrun a zombie and I could climb up stuff pretty quick.
Okay.
I'm still pretty agile. I'm still like I still have that 12-year-old in me that'll like go to a school while it's closed and get on the roof and hang out with my friends. But
And
I
if it
don't
was a
know.
fast
Do I have
zombie?
like a weapon on me too? That's important. Cause if not, you
Yeah.
can make a weapon too.
I mean that's true. But yeah, you have a weapon. Let's say you have a weapon and the zombies are slow. Are you surviving? Or how long?
I think you tell me. I got a weapon and they're slow.
I mean, depends on how many are coming at you at the same time, though.
I was watching The Last of Us, right? And when I watch The Last of Us, it's funny because I'll watch it with my girlfriend and I'll be like, "This is what I would do in this situation." No spoilers, but like, there's a scene where there's a really big zombie and they don't know how to stop him, and I was like, "Look, they got two trucks right there, okay, and they have rope. You guys need to get yourself some ropers." Because I got friends that are ropers. I'm like, you need to get yourself some ropers and you need to get the zombie and rope him and then just drag the big zombie because these bullets aren't cutting it, or turn the car on and run him over. But stop wasting ammunition on this big zombie. You got to think outside of the box. You know?
Okay, fair.
I used to do this too. I was like, yo, one of these days we're like, because we used to think zombies were going to come and get us during like 2012 because we thought the world was going to end. It's like you dig a hole and then you put spikes in the hole, like sticks,
Mhm.
and then you put like a blanket and you cover it with leaves, and then you lead whatever zombies come in and you run and you jump over the hole, but the zombie keeps running because they're dumb, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
we think zombies are, and they fall, boom, stab, done.
Okay, and if the zombie's fast?
Need a lot of bullets.
I mean, that is actually true, though. I love it. It's so funny. And now you're back with Netflix for a very new show, which also got renewed for season 2, and we love that.
Thank you.
How was it like for you joining Running Point as Jackie Moreno alongside Kate Hudson, Brenda Song, and everyone a part of the production?
This has been a fave. Like, I love this show. I feel so at home. I love everybody I work with. You know, I'm LA born and raised. So, you know, to be able to shoot here at home, representing home, and my community too, when I'm up on screen is the best. We have so much fun. So much fun on this show. Yeah. The opportunity I've had with this show and the performances they've allowed me to give, and you know, it's been a blessing. Truly, I'm excited with the material I get. I can't wait to start reading on season 2 as soon as those scripts come in. I felt so fortunate. Really, I I love what this show is. I think there's something for everyone. It's so funny. I work with some very funny people, both in front of the camera and our writers too. Yeah, I feel so at home, and I'm so passionate about this character and what I bring to this character, and how protective I am of this character. Just watching it. Okay, so there's like me getting the role, cried, tears of joy. Yeah, I was so excited to be a part of this. And I value it so much. Getting to work, the process of delivering these lines, the memories made, these moments form with my cast. That was so special. And now it gets packaged up, sent out, the world gets to see it, and just watching it be so well received, it's been magic.
It's so fun. Like, first of all, the fact that Brenda Song is such a sports person, specifically basketball.
To the teeth.
Surprising. I was surprised. But I love a girl who knows her sport. So that was awesome. But also playing Jackie, who is the essential other son. I don't want to say the other word. The other son of this family. And for about 24 years, you just didn't know that you were part of this family. And now you're the son of a billionaire. You're part of a billionaire run legacy.
Yeah.
And also, this is the first time seeing Sexy Times
Oh, yeah.
that you're doing in the show.
I'm a whole adult.
A whole adult. And I was like, oh, was not expecting that. Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah. How was that for you to do those scenes and then also have your family watch the show with you doing those scenes?
Well, like you said, it was my first time really having intimate scenes, right? You know, it's part of my job. I knew at some point that, you know, we were gonna get there. It was like, what do I expect? What is it gonna be like? We're gonna have an intimacy coordinator there, you know, but I'm gonna show up to work and have an intimate scene with someone that I don't even know. So what is that gonna be like? And just, you know, I tried to keep an open mind, really, and recognize. Just, I don't know. It's such it was a new thing for me, right? Actually getting a set. I remember, you know, I was like, how do you even say hi or introduce yourself to someone that you're about to do this scene with? And I got to set and it was super natural. It was like whatever I thought of, let it go. I was just present and we were just both really professional about it. It was the actor's first time doing anything like this too, which kind of, you know, I felt like it eased whatever was going on. And we just really started talking openly about what's been going on our mind leading up to this. Like, what were you thinking this was going to be like? What were you thinking this was going to be like? And all of a sudden I was across from a human being and they were across from a human being. And it was like, you know, we're just talking about the preconceived thoughts that we had about this. So it was really cool. It like eased whatever tension it was. It felt really natural. And then, you know, we got to talk with the intimacy coordinator about what was on the table, what wasn't, and a very transparent conversation. And that was handled really well. It was yeah, really smooth. And you'd be surprised. I feel like you see the sexual content, the intimacy and whatnot, but like in between those takes, it really is a lot of humor, at least for me, because although they were intimate scenes, I really tried to infuse it with humor because it is a comedy show. So it wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna take my shot and be Mr. Sexy out here. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, no, I want this scene to be funny. I want you to see what it's like for this 19-year-old kid to have these sexual experiences for the first time and not exactly know what it is that they're doing in this moment. So I wanted to play into that a lot. So it was more than just romance or sex or whatever. So I really tried to lean into that. So on my end, it was like, okay, finding those kind of beats where we can find some humor in that. Yeah, dealing with the intimacy coordinator was new. Yeah, figuring that stuff out was new. And yeah, in between takes, again, I'm talking with another human being, cracking jokes and even acknowledging what just happened or whatnot. So it really eases the tension. By the time I got to like the second, third, or fourth time, I think my demeanor was more calm. And I think that also helps set everyone else at ease. Like if you walk in super nervous, it's like, dude, why are you so nervous? It's just an intimate scene. Like, you know, but if you show up and just like, you're attentive, sure, but it's not so much like, oh, what's going on? I feel like you just show up more at ease, right? But yeah, it was. I'm glad with the experience that I had. I think it was really cool that showing up, me and the actor Aviana, it being both our first times and talking about that, like I said, really eased the tension and set up for a pretty honest communication. And yeah, pressure was gone, and we were both now at this point more collaborating. It wasn't like we were just both living in our heads. It was like, all right, what can we do with this scene? What's on the table? And then like, they'd be like cut, but we'd have to stay, and then we'd just start talking about whatever movie we think we're gonna watch next. So
Nice. And how was your family's reaction? Because I know your grandmother has seen the show.
yeah, I haven't talked to my grandmother about it. She watched it, and she gets so like nervous with like sex scenes and stuff, but she has not brought it up to me.
I love that. She's just like, it happened, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that stuff.
And what I liked about that particular part for your character is the fact that it's so very true. Like if you're a guy who grew up obviously with the love of your mom, but not having a lot of money, and then now you're associated with this like billionaire family, like
Right.
with a B,
Right.
and then now you have all these girls in your face.
Mhm.
Like, oh, give me your Insta. Let's talk. Let's
Mhm.
do this. Let's do that. But then also after you just had a date with an incredible girl,
Yeah.
watching you fumble was just like so sad for me.
Yeah. You do want to like smack Jackie a little bit in those moments, but it is a young kid learning the world.
A new world that he
Mhm.
still doesn't know all the rules for.
It's hard.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say I want to smack Jackie. I just want to be like, I wish somebody would have told you. Like, one of the siblings would have had the conversation with you before you start to go or date or have intimate scenes with people. Maybe figure out if they're doing it for you or for your new title.
I think it's just regular to their world. I'm the newest addition to this world, and to them, they've already gone through it all.
Yeah.
So they don't think someone else is on their way to going through this
until it actually happens.
Until it starts to happen with their youngest sibling, right?
And then I know we talked about it, but what was like now that people have seen it and they see you out in life after that scene, what's the reaction that people give you?
Shay, I had someone come up to me the other day and they were like, "Oh my God, you're the guy that gets chlamydia." I'm like, dude, we're at Costco right now. Like, you need.
Well, first of all, even if I wasn't, why are you airing my business out in Costco?
Ma'am, you are not close enough to be screaming that. Like, that is, use your indoor voice, please. Yeah, it's been a huge point of attention for everyone that I cross paths with. I've been mentioned these sex scenes a lot. And my family, or even cousins or friends asking me like, "Bro, what was it like?" I was like, "Dude, chill." First off, it's a job, yeah. And also, like, I recognize, like, also knowing how important when it comes to intimacy is when you're in these moments, it's like thinking or knowing something's gonna happen, like actually having a real life, like real world vibe, is because you've had moments of lead up to this and genuine kind of connection, whether it be you sleeping with this person for a day or they're your partner, whatever, but you've had like a gradual actual lead up to this. It's very different to be just thrown in a room, bam, with someone, because it kind of pulls the intimacy factor out of it. So you show up more like a job, I feel like intimacy kind of comes attached with a little bit of time and glances and exchanges of energy until you get to that point. So you feel like you're both headed in one direction. But when you show up and you're like, "Hey, nothing's actually going to come about this," kind of takes away the intimacy, you could say, right? So at the end of the day, you're acting.
Yeah.
And it's reserved for that pocket, and you represent that in that pocket. But it's like when they say cut, I don't know. At least in my experience, it wasn't like cut. Hold on, like I'm not done. You know what I mean? Like it was like cut. I mean cut. Yeah.
I think what I liked about Jackie is the fact that, like, he has such a good heart. He really does want to do well. He wants to have a family now that his mom's gone, because she was like not his only family, because he obviously met his cousin, but like that close connection. So him getting these siblings, and I think it was episode 9 or 10, and then she's like, "Oh, this is only for family," and you look at your face and you're just like, "I thought I was." Like, And then also having them realize that all their dysfunction, the fact that what their dad put them through, they have to learn how to be a family because they never really
Yeah.
did that the first time.
Yeah.
So Jackie is helping them learn as much as they're going to help him and actually do the things they said, like, oh, I'm going to, I think he said, I'm going to protect you until the day you die.
Yeah.
But like actually now having to put action to that, because words are easy, but we need action to back it up.
Yeah. Jackie's definitely coming from a more emotionally grounded place. I think it's not rare to experience loss, and then as soon as you experience loss, you just start valuing everyone else around you so much more. Right? So you can imagine someone that's lost their mom understands that the most important thing in the world is the people around them, because you can always get money. You can always get the material. If you have life, you have opportunity to get those things, but you can't get time back, and you can't get people back once they're gone. That holds a lot of value. So as someone that's coming off a loss and understands how important that is. So that is a huge part of who Jackie is. And although you can experience loss, and it's like, okay, you kind of get over it, experiencing the loss of someone that close is hard when you're that young. That stays with you, I think, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because he's still trying to. I feel like even from when he found out to when we get to episode 10, he's still floating. If that makes sense. Like he's still trying to find his legs again because everything's been ripped for him essentially.
Yeah.
And even though like, oh, I'm Isla's assistant. Oh, like I now like have brothers and sisters, but I'm still not connecting the way I thought I would be able to. And then the scene at Maya's grill, which I just thought was very nice of them being like, you might have to teach us how to do this because we don't know how. I thought that was a very incredible moment because it was also something that they realized like all this stuff is happening, but you also let me down. You push me away, you shut me out. And obviously y'all have been doing this for, because y'all in your 30s or 40s at this point. I'm still new. That's not what I'm used to. I'm used to like this big thing of love. And y'all think love is transactional, it feels like. So now we're got to get to a place where it's more grounded.
I love what that scene represents. It represents that feelings and emotions are valid. I think people get hung up on what's rational, and that's fine. I mean, a lot of that, yeah, sure, moves the world, but after all, we're emotional human beings, and you might be like, well, that's singular and that's someone's, let them deal with it themselves and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But like, that stuff is super valid.
It was.
We should care about one another. And that's, I think, a huge issue today.
Yeah, I really feel if people had more empathy, we'd be in a much better place. Something to still work on. But for season 2, what do you want for Jackie? What are your hopes for him going in? Especially now that, this is going to be a spoiler. So you can go forward 10 or 20, 30 seconds. Just Cam's back. Yeah. So that the dynamic is either going to be funny for season 2.
I haven't even spoken to the writers. When I've seen them, or our showrunners, like when I've seen them, it's been at events and times where, again, our show's been so well received, thankfully. It's like, hey, hi, hey, can we get you to do an interview? Hey, can we get you to do an interview? So it's been these short bursts of exchanges. Hey, show's doing well. Yeah, it is doing well. But I have yet to really talk about the storylines that we might get into. I can hope that Jackie will continue to form a closer bond with his siblings, like, and be taken into consideration. And now I feel like, like that saying, like an enemy of an enemy is a friend of mine. An enemy of your enemy is a friend of mine, or whatever.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, not that they're enemies, but I feel like Cam coming back in, like you had mentioned, kind of puts them, all the siblings, in this place of like, hey, it's time to team up. It's time for us to be solid, and everyone needs to handle their post. But then again, it also poses the question, like, what, Cam is Cam, and Cam might have, might be smart for brothers or sister to jump sides and be on Cam's side, or maybe Jackie to be on Cam's side, and Cam kind of show up like the big brother we didn't expect. We don't know. I don't know. Again, I haven't spoken to the writer, so if anybody hears this is all just coming from my mind. We have that. I think I have a really cool relationship with Brenda's character, which is cool too. We saw a little bit of that. It'd be cool to spend more time with Kate and Brenda because we see it for a little bit, especially when Kate's character is kind of like handling business and she's like, who's the leak? And I'm like, I just want you to know I'm loyal, So I thought that was a pretty cool group to spend time with. Getting to have more fun moments with my brother. I love shooting scenes with them. So learning more about them. I think Sandy and Jackie are very different, which I think makes for really great comedic moments too. So I look forward to growth there. I think Ness and Jackie are a duo that we've not yet seen have as much fun as they could have.
Oh, y'all can do some damage.
Yeah, I think
if the world was unleashed with Ness and Jackie, I would be entertained. If nothing else.
We both, I think, have can move through the world in very fun ways. So yeah, Ness and Jackie would be a fun duo. I want to spend more time with the basketball players and see what that might look like. We obviously can't, such a big part of season 1 was the idea of Jackie's love life, rekindling or, trying to save or create romance maybe for Jackie in season 2. Maybe pick up the pieces that were broken there and whatnot, or even Jackie just getting more of an understanding of whether this excitement he's received is maybe filling some sort of void. I don't know,
And what do you hope for your career going forward?
I would love to continue to show up and work with very, very funny people and show up and be funny. Comedy seems to have taken a liking to me. So I've done a ton of really comedically lean films or TV work. But like I said, World War Z, Perry Mason, I can definitely go in and enjoy my time in a drama. I love to do that. I just like to get invested in these characters that I'm really passionate about, whether it be comedy or drama. I love to laugh. I love to be around funny people. I'm wowed by the work that funny people make, right? But I have a huge appreciation for drama and having something to say and moving people. Not that comedy doesn't, because it does, and we oftentimes have something to say. But I would love for both. If I could just, I really admire Jamie Foxx's career. Jamie Foxx is one of the funniest people you can see on screen, or off screen, because he gets on stand up. But Jamie does it all and so well. So I would love to not be. I'll pick that up. No, I'm just kidding. I would love to not be like just do one thing, because I'm an actor, and truly you want to do it all. You want to play different things.
That's amazing. I can't wait to see what's continued for your career, because I want to say what's next, because right now what's next is Running Point season 2.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to get a season 3 and 4, because yes, we need it. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at The Media That Makes Us. I'm your host, Chae Jones. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to download where you can listen to all podcasts. You'll find us there. And thank you so much again, Fabrizio, for joining us.